Hi everybody. In this video, we're going to look at plotting reciprocal graphs. This is where we have an equation where we're dividing by the unknown. We're dividing by the x term. And this will give the graph a unique property, which we'll talk about as we plot one. So if we begin with example 1, we need to complete the table of values for the equation y equals 1 over x. We've been given that when x is negative 2, y is negative 1/2. We need to work out when x is negative 1. So we'll substitute the negative 1 into our equation. So we'll get y will be 1 over negative 1, which is negative 1. And then when x is negative 0.25, y will be 1 divided by negative that quarter, which gives us negative 4. When x is 0.25, y will be 1 divided by the quarter, which is now positive 4. And when x is positive 2, y will be 1 over 2, 0.5. So now we have the table of values, we can plot the graph using these coordinate pairs. So when x is negative 2, y will be negative 0.5. When x is negative 1, y will be negative 1. We get negative 0.5 and negative 2, negative a quarter, negative 4. And then when x becomes positive, we've got positive a quarter to 4, 0.5 to 2, 1 to 1, and 2 to 0.5. And to plot the graph, we need to join these points together. But the question is, what happens between this point and this point? Well, we can't divide 1 by 0. If x was to be 0, we'll have 1 divided by 0, which is undefined, and we can't plot this value. So what happens is the curve goes down towards negative infinity, and on the other side, it comes from positive infinity down to over here. So we get a graph that looks like this. You can see it's rotationally symmetrical about the origin. And this will never touch the x-axis at this point or here, because we'd have to divide 1 by infinity. And infinity doesn't exist, just like it will never get to the y-axis here, because we can't divide by 0. So when y equals 0, and when x equals 0, we've got asymptotes. This means that the curve will approach the lines, but never actually get there. If we look at example 2, we've been given the equation y equals 12 over x. Do you want to try and complete this table of values? You can pause the video and come back when you're ready. Okay, so welcome back if you had a go. When x equals negative 6, we'll have 12 divided by negative 6, and this will give us negative 2. When x is negative 1, we'll have 12 divided by negative 1, which is negative 12. When x is positive 1, we'll get 12 divided by 1. When x is 2, 12 divided by 2. And 12 divided by 4 will give us 3. So how did you get on with that table of values? Do you want to now try and plot these points on the grid? Think about what happens when x is equal to 0. Okay, so welcome back if you had a go. We've got 12 and negative 1, negative 6 and negative 2, negative 2 and negative 6, negative 1 and negative 12. Then we've got 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 4 and 3, 6 and 2, and 12 and 1. So the curves will never get to the y-axis or to the x-axis. Again, because we can't divide by 0. So our graph should look like this. Let's try example 3. So now we've been given the equation that y equals 6 over x minus 1. Do you want to try and plot this graph from x equals -5 to +4? You can pause the video and come back when you're ready. Okay, so how did you get on? If we begin with x equals -2, y will be 6 over -2 minus 1, which is 6 over -3. So we'll get -2. When x is -1, we'll get 6 over -2. When x is 0, we'll get 6 over -1. And when x is 0.5, we'll get 6 over 0.5 take away 1, which is 6 over -0.5. So -12. When x is 1.5, we'll get 1.5 take away 1, which is 6 over a half. And then when x is 3, we'll get y is equal to 6 over 2, which is 3. So plotting these points, we get -5, -1, -2, -2, -1, -3, 0 and -6, and 0.5 and -12. And then when x is 1.5, we get 12. When x is 2, we get 6. 3 and 3, and we've got the point 4 and 2. Now we can join these together with a smooth curve. Where do you think our asymptote will be? So our vertical asymptote will happen when x equals 1, because we can't have 1 take away itself to make 0. When you divide 6 by 0, we get infinity or undefined. So when x equals +1, we'll get our vertical asymptote. Similarly, when x is infinite, we'll have 6 divided by infinity, which tends to 0. So the x-axis will be our horizontal asymptote. Okay? Well, thank you very much for watching. I hope you found that useful. If you want more practice on this, you can download the worksheet and view the online lesson from my website, mrmathematics.com. I'll leave a link in the description below.